Hello and welcome. My name is Mendy.
And I'm True.
Welcome to Shield's Rest. We're a group of friends bound by our love for tabletop role playing games, and our job here is to explain possible options on how to play the character you've always wanted to play in any tabletop role playing game, whether that be Daggerheart, whether that be Dungeons and Dragons, whether that be anything else. Today, we've both made a tank guardian in the new Daggerheart tabletop role playing game by Darrington Press. And we're going to be going level by level here, explaining our builds and why we chose them. If you like this video, please give us a like, comment, subscribe. Check out our other videos. We've play tested this. We have videos on the channel below where we're actually going through playing the game, showing you how the mechanics work. And we have also other builds where we kind of broke down the druid, we broke down the bard, and there's plenty more to come. With introductions out of the way, True, tell me how you kicked off your guardian tank.
So obviously, with the Guardian tank, you're going to be doing anything and everything in your power to min-max the heck out of this thing.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So, I decided, and I know this is kind of me harkening back to the Druid tank, but I wanted to grab Dracona again. I wanted to grab Ridgeborn again. I think we all know the reasons as to why, because I mean that increased damage threshold is just killer, right? Getting that armor slot at the very beginning, that extra one at the very beginning to have 7 armor slots, killer. So, had to do that. I think something of note here is going to be that I did take a tower shield and full plate armor. I did not care about my evasion at all whatsoever, because my evasion's 4 by doing this, by the way. So, and starting off, my armor becomes a +9. So that's 9 hit points times 7 that I'm able to negate every single time, pretty much. So I'm not going to have a whole lot of issues. And my starting my starting major threshold and severe threshold ended up being a 10 and an 18 to start with, which at level 1 is pretty killer, if I do say so myself.
I think that might be the best you can get there at level 1. I mean,
it is, yeah. I think it's pretty up there for sure. There's some other good takes though, as far as ancestry is concerned. Galapa's a great one. You really can't go wrong there. So I mean, there's some other ones out there, but sometimes it just depends on your flavor. But if you were going for min-maxing, I think Dracona's the way. Now there is one thing I do want to highlight for the Guardian before we actually get into the level 1, and that's going to be the class feature of Unstoppable. So once per long rest, you can have an unstoppable die, and that starts out as a D4, and then it becomes a D6 at level 3, and then becomes a D8 at level 7. And then what happens is you start it on the number 1, and then you slowly, as you basically deal damage, increase the value until you reach the end of that die. And when that happens, basically you'll lose these benefits. But the benefits you gain starting out is resistance to physical damage. You also get a current value of the unstoppable die to your damage dice total. So you're increasing your damage output as you go. You also get to increase your current armor score by your proficiency. So that not only takes me from a 9 armor score from the very top, it makes it actually a 10.
It's nasty.
Completely nasty, and you cannot be restrained or vulnerable.
Yeah.
So that is a killer class feature. I absolutely love that. And I also made sure to maintain the strength being my main, as well as presence being my secondary, because there's actually a lot of moments in which you're going to need to use presence, and we'll get into that here. So with the equipment and the ancestry and community out of the way, my level 1 that I ended up taking was I Am Your Shield. That was my first take, because I wanted to be able to help out with damage damage reduction for my other party members.
Absolutely.
And just by adding in my strength trait like that, so the higher strength trait you have, the better this is going to be as you go. So I absolutely had to take that. I did also want to use Forceful Push, just because, like, I don't really care about the damage aspect of it. What I care about is being able to not only hit the enemy, push them back, and then make them vulnerable. That makes them so much easier to attack. That's advantage on top for everybody that attacks that one enemy that I push over. So, had to grab that. And then I had to grab Stalwart.
Yeah.
I wanted that damage threshold +1. I wanted to be able to reduce the physical damage by my armor score without even having to spend armor to do it. And if I'm doing that each and every single time, and then I can do that, then I can spend armor slots on top like that, you're going to be almost impossible to wound at that point.
100%.
So, yeah, it's too good.
it's simply too good.
Simply too good. But that's my level 1. What was your character concept, and what did you take at level 1?
Yeah, very similar. What I wanted, True, was a knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
So what I went ahead and did Dracona as well, because if you're going to be playing this class, I mean, there's really no better option there. You get the +1s, you know, you get the flavor in it. I love it. I love the Dracona here in Daggerheart.
Breath weapon. You can't go wrong with having that breath weapon just right there for you.
Yeah, just to have. You never know. I was very tempted to take Seaborn, as we all are, because it's phenomenal. But actually, I stepped away from Seaborn and I picked up Orderborn.
Okay, yeah.
I like this idea for a tank. I mean, in our Daggerheart playtest, you see Ethan's character who takes the words "I am your shield," and basically he gets a very, very nice hope die. So I'm thinking you can kind of min-max this, flavor this to the actual campaign. That way you're rolling a lot better when it comes to either taking hits or dishing them out.
Absolutely.
And yeah, for starting weapons, I had to take that tower shield.
Yep.
You're at level 1, nothing's touching you. And then I grabbed the Hollowed Axe because I felt like that was the best one-handed strength weapon you could take there.
I did too. I didn't mention that, but I did as well. It's such a great weapon, and to be able to do magical damage, come on.
100%. I mean, a 1d10, like that's pretty solid. For subclass, I mean, I don't think you can take Vengeance here. You have to take Stalwart if you really want to be survivable and take these hits and be able to dish out some solid damage. I mean, I don't know about you, True, but I fell in love with this character upon building it.
I thought I loved the Druid, but man, I'm loving the Guardian a little bit more, at least from the tank aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. For my domain deck cards, the fun stuff, I also picked up I Am Your Shield. I mean, it's kind of a must if you're wanting to play that tank that just never goes down. But for my second one, I kind of wanted to increase my damage a little bit, because not only are we going to be taking hits, but we're going to be pretty effective when it comes to actual hand-to-hand combat. And I feel like the most sustainable damage card that you can take here at level 1 is the Blade deck card, Not Good Enough. I mean, when it's in your inventory, you get to re-roll 1s or 2s. I mean,
yeah, it is super nice, and I think there's a lot of great ones here that you could go with, especially if you're going to even go with like an evasion build tank, and this was one I was kind of tempted to do. Like Bare Bones comes in with that +4 on armor score. Even Retaliation kind of had some beautiful flavor to it that I was kind of tempted to go with instead of Forceful Push. But yeah, there's a lot of great ones here at level 1 that you kind of almost want to go back for.
Yeah, no,
later
100%.
on.
But I also I kind of skipped over my trait sets. I'm going the Strength Agility build, so I went ahead and upped my agility as well.
Nice.
So I think I know why you took a little bit in Presence, but I'm going that agile, strong character, just the absolute Chad, the hunk, the knight in shining armor.
Hell yeah!
But that's my level 1 there, True. What did you end up doing at level 2?
So level 2, I did take another armor slot here, so wanted to get that get an increase there. So I'm sitting there with 8 armor slots. I also, again, as we always do, increase my traits. So another strength +1 here. So I'm now strength +3, and then presence +2 now.
Yep.
So had to do that. Now, one that I wanted to take here, I did not necessarily go with the presence build. I kind of went back and forth on whether I go with this presence build and utilizing bold presence.
Yeah.
Bold presence is a great one to stack on top of a few other cards later. But I decided to go with the Soldier's Bond because I felt like that was necessary to have before we go into a fight with, let's say, your healer. Whether it's a Druid healer, whether it's a Seraph healer. You're going to want to be able to not only get that 3 hope, but also give the 3 hope. I thought that was kind of a necessity if you were going to ensure your survivability, particularly with your healer. Or if you've got your damage dealer, they're probably going to be using hope for a lot of things for a lot of their domain cards. Give them that hope. Give them that ability to do even more. So that's kind of the route I decided to take this time.
Yeah. No, those are both very solid choices. All right, for my level 2, what I did, as we always do, is increase your traits. I got my strength up to a 3, and I got my agility up to a 2.
Hell yeah!
I also tacked on an extra HP slot. I was thinking about going armor, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with just picking HP. And for this build, True, I know we're going tank, but I feel like at level 1 and 2, we're already going to be the tankiest build in these levels there is. So I wanted to spend those early levels before like the real tank domain cards come out and increase my offensive capability. So so I went ahead and just took Reckless. I feel like we're gonna have some stress to spend, or we're gonna have some stress slots that are unused, and just to take advantage on any attack at the cost of just 1 stress. I think at level 2, it's not a bad price to pay for your survivability when you can actually dish out some combat.
Right, and to ensure that you do hit.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely, that's a good pick.
Yeah, that's my level 2.
Okay, yeah. So level 3 then. I decided to increase my major threshold by +1, as well as my health by +1. And then I decided to take Scramble.
Yep.
I wanted to be able to have that once per short rest, basically dodge out of the way of all damage kind of thing. Because what if there's just something that's really coming in that even my armor's not going to be able to deal with, or sometimes you're just in bad situations. Scramble was going to be my ace in the hole, my get out of jail free kind of moment if I needed it. And the fact that it was once per short rest made it really reusable. So it's probably something that'll occupy my loadout for a while, if not be sitting in the wings in my vault, and I'm just going to spend that 1 stress to bring it out and use it. So yeah. But that's my level 3.
No, 100%. Yeah, here at level 3, I went ahead and added a stress slot, much like you did at level 2, and then I added an armor slot.
Nice.
Wanted to just increase that survivability. You can't go wrong with either of them. And for domain deck card, I also took Scramble. I mean, I felt like this one was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, once per short rest, if you really break it down, the way that plays out, it's going to be pretty much once per combat. Once per combat, you're going to be able to completely negate a large hit coming in, and you're just gonna be able to live a little bit longer. That hit, that action that enemy took is just negated. Right. It's very solid there at level 3. But
absolutely,
yeah, I see why I understand why we both took it. It's a great card.
It's compulsory almost, like you have to.
It really is. But that's my 3. What'd you do it for?
So for 4, I had a hard time at 4, so this is where that presence build was going to come into play. So if you took that level 2 domain card for Valor, if you took that bold presence, then you should take Goad Them On. That's a really great one. I really liked it, but it wasn't something that was going to work, obviously, because I didn't take bold presence. So I decided to go with Fortified Armor, because I'm the tank. I'm going to take the tankiest thing you possibly can, and that's a +2 to armor right there. Yeah. So right now I'm sitting at a +12 for my armor score, which is insane.
It's insane. Level 4.
Yeah, level 4. You've got that 12 sitting in the wings to just negate all that damage. Yeah. On top of the fact that you're resistant to physical damage, and then you're able to basically half incoming damage like that. Again with your stalwart,
and you still have Scramble at the helm in case anything comes through.
Yeah, and then all the armor slots that I've built up to now, plus this, to be able to negate all the way down, I'm almost never going to be damaged at this point. Yeah. Almost never. But yeah, so had to go with that one. I did increase my stress and my major, so yeah,
okay,
had to do that.
100%. Very similar levels for us here, True. At level 4, I increased my major and severe here, just for that survivability. But I also just picked up fortified armor. I mean, I kind of negated these type of domain deck cards that help you help your survivability in the early levels. I was more focused on combat so that we're not just taking hits and not be able to deal combat. But at level 4, I mean, fortified armor, that +2 armor score, on top of being a Dracona, on top of being a stalwart, I mean, it just all stacks, and you're so sturdy. You're going to be your GM's worst nightmare. They're not going to be able to hit you. I mean, they're going to have to, like, fish for ways to get advantage on you in any way they see fit, because without that, you're basically unstoppable, and whatever damage does come through isn't going to do a lot to you. With the amount of HP and the thresholds we built up, we're sturdy, man.
Sturdy as hell. Absolutely.
But that's my level 5, or that's my level 4. What did you do at 5?
So for level 5, I did go with Stalwart. I had to take the subclass, so I had to be able to increase increase the damage threshold by +2. Had to do it. And then when a very close ally takes damage, you can mark an armor slot to reduce the damage by your armor score. Like, what the heck? That is the most tankiest thing you could possibly do. And if I'm reducing damage by 12 for that person at level 5,
not many characters are gonna have 12 like hit points.
Not a lot of people are going to be dealing out that kind of damage. I mean, maybe at level 5 you're probably going to be able to get dealt that sort of damage, but at least the 12's going to come in and really reduce it, and then they can throw their armor on top of that to really help out even further. But at least you're reducing the need for them to spend their armor slot, especially if it just so happens to be your healer that you're protecting right then and there.
Yeah.
So, but actually my armor score's about to become a 13 because I did also take Armorer. Okay. So it gives me that +1 to armor, and then on top of that, during a short rest, I can take the repair armor downtime action, and everybody in your party also clears 1 additional armor slot.
Yeah.
So being just that much more helpful. And of course, I had to take the +2 in armor, so I added 2 more armor slots to my ability here to just keep reducing down that damage. And so armor score 13, and pretty much at the end of this whole thing, my armor slots end up being 11. So that's hundreds of damage negation right there.
Yeah. No.
So it's just absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my level 5.
Yeah, true. Here at level 5, I also upgraded my subclass because all the exact reasons that you just pointed out. I'm not going to reiterate them, but the fact that they just all stack, they just make you that much tankier. It's unbelievable, honestly. This subclass seems broken.
Yeah.
I increased my traits here.
That was something I didn't do.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised you didn't increase your traits here, because I feel like every time we're increasing traits at level 5 here.
Pretty much every time, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I haven't increased traits for the rest of the build.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
I guess you
talk about ballsy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going for just straight, like, survivability, strength isn't going to help you there.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's not like D&D where Constitution is your health.
Exactly, yeah.
So, nothing to increase.
That's smart. If you really want to optimize being as tanky as you can, I mean, I guess you do skip the increased traits here, but I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Like, once I see that, I can't stop. So I went ahead and added to my strength and agility once more.
Nice.
And then for my domain deck card, I had a long thought about going armor, but I actually decided to go Champion's Edge here.
Really?
Yeah. When you get a critical success on an attack roll, you may spend up to 3 hope and choose that many of the following options. I love this. I mean, hit point, armor slot, and +1 hit point on the target. I love this for damage, and I like this for survivability. Clear an armor slot here. And I feel like there's going to be ways for you to get a critical success often. I mean, you're going to be able to find ways to roll with advantage. You're gonna be getting these before, and you're going to have probably 3 hope to work with where you can just use all 3.
Yeah,
so I thought
absolutely.
I thought this is a really, really cool card here at level 5. Optimization wise, probably would have went armor, but for the character that I had in mind, Champion's Edge takes the edge, if you will.
Well, and I think something to note here is people should also think about taking Vitality. So when you take this card, choose 2, permanently add 1 additional stress slot, permanently add 1 additional hit point slot, permanently raise your damage thresholds by +2. Then place this into your vault permanently. I really like that a lot as well. I think that's a solid option for people that aren't really sure and they want to add on to essentially their health and stress, or if they want to increase their damage thresholds by that much more, especially if you're trying to get those thresholds really high. This is a good way to do that. So, and then you don't have to worry about having the card in your what do you call it, in your loadout, just taking up space in your loadout. It can just sit in your vault and you're done with it. You don't ever have to see it again. So yeah, that's another option if people want to take that.
Yeah.
But yeah, good picks. I like that.
Yeah, 100%. We're on to level 6 here.
Yes, we are. So level 6, I had to take another hit point and another stress slot. Definitely wanted those. And then I took Inevitable.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I was really
curious about your level 6. Okay.
Yeah, so Inevitable to me, because I feel like I'm not going to be rolling that high because I'm not taking a lot of trait increases here. Obviously, I only took the 1.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that whenever I did fail on an action roll, the next one would have that advantage. So I just wanted to keep that going because sometimes you just have really bad rolls too. That advantage, that extra d6 to your roll is just going to help out that much more. So I just wanted to throw that on top. I mean, there were some other great ones, obviously some really great ones, but that one just felt necessary for the build that I currently have.
No.
So
yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, here at level 6, I also added an HP and stress slot here.
Nice.
It just seemed like the right move. And for a domain deck card, I am so shocked you did not go Battle Hardened here.
Tempted.
I'm curious to see if you go back for it, but we'll find out here later on in the video. But that Battle Hardened, I mean, at level 6, I wanted to grab this as soon as I can. Because you're immortal.
You kind of are. Well, you are to a point.
You are to a point, but the fact is, like, you drop to your last hit point and you come back and you get a cool scar as a reward. I mean,
I guess
I love this card. I think, you know, it just makes your survivability even that much more.
It does.
Come back.
To me, I didn't want to take this because I don't foresee a moment in which I'm going to be at that having that problem.
That's valid. That is.
You know, with 13 for an armor score and having those 11 slots essentially to just pull down, plus being resistant and having damage here and there, I just don't see a moment in which that's going to happen to me in my build.
Yeah.
Mind you, that is my build, and I'm a walking fortress, so that wasn't exactly good for me. But I do love the fact that you just, as a just in case, assuming that you've used your scramble, all your armor slots are gone, and it's just a hell of a slog, and then you drop to your last hit point, and you can just come back. You permanently lose a hope, and then you can just clear that many however many hit points when you roll off of the d6. Like, that is a nice thing to have in your back pocket. Like, you're getting that security. Is really what you're getting here.
It's what it is, yeah.
Well,
it's all about security here. I mean, you know, whenever shit does hit the fan, you're gonna be safe. If it ever does, I don't know if it's ever gonna happen with this type of build, like you said, but it's
gonna be tough,
just in case. But we're moving on to the later levels here, True. We're on to level 7.
Yes, we are. So for level 7, I did increase my HP by 1, and I did increase my major by 1 as well.
Okay.
And then I did take Valor Touched. Because guess what? I wanted to increase my armor score again. Yeah. But more than that, whenever you mark a hit point, roll a d6. If you get a 5+, you clear that hit point or stress. I think that's pretty great to have just kind of sitting there, because you're probably going to be taking damage at some point. And if you just negate it down to 1, hopefully you roll that +5, that hit point that you would otherwise be taking is gone.
Yeah.
So, that puts me at a +14 for my armor score, by the way.
Just
saying. Yeah, saying. But yeah, that's my level 7, so.
Yeah, my level
What'd you do?
7. Kind of similar, but also kind of the opposite. I added HP and Stress again, and then I went Blade Touched here because the majority of my cards are from the Blade domain, and attack rolls always
Yeah,
take 2+2 to the result and increase your severe damage threshold by 4.
that's pretty good.
I
That's
mean,
really good.
that's what I love about the Guardian here. Both of these domain deck cards are very tanky. Even
Yes.
like
The Blade one is definitely trying to deal out damage while also still being able to take damage,
Yeah.
whereas the Valor deck here is primarily about negating damage and then being able to help others around you to
Yeah.
also negate damage. So, really, no matter how you go, you're either going to dish it out and take it just as well, or you're just going to be taking it and taking a lot of it,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
you're
I
gonna
like
be
that.
you're gonna be your party's best friend. 100%.
Yo, yeah.
But let's move on to the last 3 here. True. What did you do at level 8?
So level 8, I did take an increase in my HP, and then I did increase, I did take the mastery for the subclass here.
Yep.
So I did, I mean, again, you have to. Stalwart Mastery is pretty great, +3 to your thresholds, is really nice. And then I think the secondary benefit here is just added on, like just a nicety right now. It's not something I cared a whole lot about, but when an ally within close range has 2 hit points or fewer and should take damage, you can immediately mark a stress to sprint to their side and take the damage instead.
Yeah.
Love the flavor behind that, but it allows you to get some mobility.
Yeah.
It allows you to move without having to actually spend any time doing the movement itself. You can just rely on this being in your back pocket there.
Yeah.
So, pretty great. But I also took Full Surge.
Okay.
So this one I intend to keep in my vault because it only costs 1 stress to pull out to play. And once per long rest, I can mark the 3 stress to push my body to the limits to increase all my traits by +2. So if I absolutely needed to, and that'll last until my next rest, whether that's short or long, doesn't matter. So I can easily pull that out if I want to and just have that going the entire time until we take the next rest. So love that as a backup situation.
Yeah.
Don't know when that's going to really be necessary, but I mean, there's a lot of other good ones here. Battle Cry was a great one. I was like, ooh, I could take that one. Ground Pound, I love the flavor behind that one. But yeah, Full Surge was that in my back pocket. If I'm finding I'm having issues with having low traits, this is where this comes into play.
No, that makes sense. I also took a back pocket card here.
Okay.
But we'll start out. I went ahead and increased my traits here once again. So I maxed out my strength, got that agility to a 4. And then I also took mastery in the stalwart. I mean, you have to take it, the +3. I mean, it's just so strong. So at that point, you're virtually unhittable. But what I did here was not the tankiest move. What I wanted to do was a last ditch, last resort card in case combat is not going the way that your party sees fit. So I picked up Frenzy. I mean,
Yeah, of course you did.
I mean, you can't use your armor slots here. Like we spent the last, 7 levels building up those armor slots, but with the weight with our severe and major threshold, what they are, and what this card adds another 8 to your severe damage threshold, you're still gonna be able to survive. You're still gonna be able to take some hits here when you're in a frenzy, and the +10 to hit. I mean,
+10 to damage rolls is killer. I mean, you're at that point you're pretty much gonna hit their severe threshold every single time.
Yeah.
So yeah, love that.
And with the maxed out strength, I mean, at this point you're probably gonna find a better weapon than your hollowed axe. You're gonna be able to do some gambit, or you're gonna be able to deal some damage, which is very nice to have in your back pocket if you ever need it. I don't know if I'm gonna be bringing this in my loadout very often, but if we know like a hard fight's ahead of us, I wouldn't mind swapping out something for this card.
Absolutely.
But that was my level 8. Both great choices. Let's see what you did with level 9.
Yeah, so for level 9, I did increase my major threshold by +2, and then I did take another hit point because I wanted to get my hit point slots as far as I possibly could. So I now have 11 hit points to work with, and then I did take Battle Cry. I wanted to go back there was nothing at level 9 that I really wanted. Like, there were some good ones. It was just they didn't do what I wanted my character to be able to do. It wasn't fulfilling that tank and support build.
Yeah.
So with Battle Cry, once per short rest while you are charging into danger, you can muster a rousing shout or phrase that inspires your allies. You and your allies that can hear you each clear a stress and gain a hope. And until you or an ally fails a roll with fear, take advantage on attack rolls. That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Going into this, if you're just being able to keep giving them advantage all the way through until they essentially fail, or I guess if you're failing and rolling a fear at that same time, but that's going to be so hard to do when you have your advantage going for you and you get the clear stress and you gain a hope. Yeah, that was the most support tank thing I could think of at level 9.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you know, that makes a lot of sense for your character, where you haven't been focusing on combat. You haven't really been focusing on increasing your traits. I mean, going back and grabbing, that's a really smart move. Something that I didn't think about. So here, I went ahead and picked up another health and stress slot just to have.
Nice, yep.
My thresholds.
Gonna need it.
Yeah, my thresholds are where they want to be, or where I want them to be. My armor slots where I want it to be. For my domain deck card, though, I wanted to take the epitome of like the hero tank, so I picked up Hold the Line.
Nice.
You're basically.
It's a good one.
Yeah, you're a shield for your entire party. If shit hits the fan, who's gonna save us? It's gonna be the Guardian.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit there. I mean, like they're restrained. It's a good like control card as well. And who better to be focused on in combat than the one with the most armor slots, the one with the most HP, the one with the most like the bigger threshold. So I really wanted to pick Hold the Line here to actually just be my party's like shield.
Nice.
That's what
I like that. That's a
good
good one.
Yeah, that's what I did at 9. We are on to the last level.
Yeah, level 10, man. So this is where I finally picked up my last armor slot.
Yep.
I also increased my severe threshold by 4. And then I took Unbreakable.
Okay.
So this is why I didn't take the Blade card that you ended up taking a little while back, to be able to mark that hope essentially and just take the Scar. Because when you mark your last hit point, instead of making a death move, you can roll a 1d6 and clear that many marked hit points. Then put this card into your vault. If there's a pretty large battle we're going into, and especially because we're here at level 10, it's probably going to be necessary to have. I'm going to keep that in my loadout until I come across this moment where I'm going to have to throw it into my vault and pull something else out.
Yeah.
Now, this also still gives you the ability to pull it out. If I'm sitting there pretty with a nice amount of stress, then I can pull this right back out and do the exact same thing if I'm getting too close to death. So it's got that nice back pocket situation that we talk about all the time. So this is going to fill that for my particular build. But that kind of rounds out my character really nicely. I think my major threshold ended up being a solid 29. And then my severe ended up being a solid 59.
Yeah.
So really going to be hard to get 3 hit points down on, especially with my hit points being 11, like having that 11 slots to work with. Stress 8, at this point 14 armor.
Yeah.
And this is assuming that we're just baseline armor, nothing. We've got nothing better.
And that's what I was about to say. I mean, these are baseline. These are things you start out with at level 1.
Yeah. That's what I love about that so much, is that this only multiplies that much more with the improved type of armor that you're going to get, or that stronger armor you'll get later on. Because, I mean, level 10.
Yeah.
You're telling me you haven't found anything better since level 1?
Right.
Even if you haven't, you're still covered. Don't even worry about it.
100%. No, I agree with you, True. Yeah, here at my level 10, maxed out HP and stress. I'm completely done there. Can't go any higher. Just wanted to have it. And I feel like up to this point, my Guardian's been taking all the hits. He's done everything that he can possibly do to negate damage coming to him, so he wanted a little bit more combat, right?
Oh, yeah.
I went ahead and picked up Onslaught.
Nice.
The fact that you're never gonna hit below the target's major damage threshold is pretty killer. If you hit, you're dealing damage. You're taking away HP. And I kind of like the second added effect. It's not I don't know how often it's gonna come into play, but if an enemy hits your ally with an attack that doesn't include you, you can mark a stress to have them make a reaction roll. 15. I mean,
you're probably gonna get that.
Yeah. Level 10. I mean, you deal weapon damage up to them at your half proficiency rounded up, which I thought was just a nice little added bonus. I didn't take it for that. I took it for the sustained damage there. Anytime you hit, you're actually like digging into the HP. But I mean, that's the end of my Guardian tank. I mean, I ended up with 11 HP, 11 stress slots, severe threshold 54, and major 28. I mean, the evasion of 8. I love the stalwarts, class features. I gotta say, Drew, this might have been the easiest build that I've had to do, because it seemed like every time I clicked on a card, I knew exactly that I needed it in my loadout. The Valor and Blade.
I wholly agree with you on that, because really and truly, going through this, like each and every single level, it just made sense what you're taking at that point. Like there's not a single thing here between either build at this point that's really a wrong answer, and I don't think any of the other options that are out there for the Blade deck, for the Valor deck, I don't see any of those as really bad options. You kind of have a hard time building a bad Guardian.
You really
if
do.
I'm being honest.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what the worst one to take here? Because every time, whenever it came to choosing a domain deck card, I mean, obviously, like your mundane stuff, like your increased threshold, that's gonna be that you're gonna choose that based on like what you want, and we both knew what we wanted.
Right.
We wanted survivability, but each time I had to like flip a coin for each one, because I was like, these are all just as good as the other.
Yep. Completely agree.
Yeah. No, I do believe if we ever get back into another like Daggerheart playtest or so, I'm gonna be going Guardian here. I fell in love with this character. I'm happy to explore it more in our next videos. I'm excited to see how we can kind of optimize it a little bit further.
Yes, and as a GM, I'm going to find any way possible to be able to kill that character as soon as possible.
As you should. Yeah.
Probably in the womb, but yeah, that's about probably as soon as I can do that.
at character creation.
At character creation.
But,
oh man, a lot of fun. I absolutely love this class. That was a fun build for sure.
That was a great build. I mean, I loved your character. I like how you went a little unorthodox, not creasing your traits there. But now the way that you explained it to me, you really don't need it here with this build. Now my character deals.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
It felt wrong.
Yeah.
It felt really wrong.
I'm sure.
It really felt like I was just negating who I was as a person by not taking those trait increases.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't necessary. But for yours, absolutely necessary.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're both more we're both survivable. You're able to help out the party a lot more than I would be able to, which is just going to add to the party's success. I'm able to deal a little bit more combat.
From a damage negation.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have is damage negation. But you with your damage negation and damage output, yeah. Killer.
I don't think you can go wrong. So if any of you watching this are interested in playing the Guardian, do it. Please
do it. For the love of goodness.
Yeah, ruin your GM's day. Be the show off. It's like, I can't die and I can deal damage. But if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, comment, subscribe. Tell us how you built your Guardian and what you wish Daggerheart would improve upon the Guardian. We have previous video on the Druid. We have previous videos exploring the Bard. Let us know what other class you want us to optimize and kind of deep dive into. True, did you have any more words?
Yeah, honestly, I think you said it all right there, but I mean, we're going to be going through the rest of these classes and possible roles that each class can be in that they'd be effective in. So keep looking out for more of those. We're probably going to get into other systems here pretty soon, but looking forward to when they finally release Daggerheart as a completed game, because I want to see what differences they made. I want to see what all they ended up doing to really bulk out and kind of shore up some of the minor issues that this system currently has, because I think they are just minor issues that I feel like they're just looking at every day, and they're just going to town trying to fix and trying to make better. So can't wait till the full game comes out.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you very much, True. This was a lot of fun. Thank you to all our viewers. And
Yeah, man.
if you stuck around till the end, thank you very much. Everyone, have a good one.